Hi, I would like to introduce you to the great horses of Japan. Let me explain while eating Japanese snacks. Well, this time is FineMotion. FineMotion is a female horse born in 1999. Her father is Dane Hill and her mother is Cocotte. Dane Hill is a very successful stallion worldwide. FineMotion was born in Ireland and imported to Japan. Her mother Cocotte also gave birth to Pilsudski, who won 6 other Grade 1 races around the world, including the Japan Cup. However, I think it is unusual for an Irish horse to come to Japan. Why did FineMotion come to Japan? There was a trainer named Yuji Ito. He is now retired due to old age, but he was a great trainer. He had managed Winning Ticket, Air Groove, and many other great horses. Ito had been to Ireland several times in the past to discover good race horses. Alabanza, born in 1993, was a horse that Ito led to import, and managed by Ito himself. Then he came to Japan and did well there, finishing second in the Stayers Stakes. It was at a ranch called Baronstown Stud that Alabanza was born. In April 1999, Ito visited Baronstown Stud in Ireland again and spoke highly of the foal shortly after birth. The female foal, to be named FineMotion in the future, was priced at over 100 million yen because of her good pedigree. Ito recommended to the Japanese ranch owner to buy her. The owner decided to buy her, thinking that it would pay off if she would produce a foal as a broodmare in the future. Thus, it seems that the owner bought the horse without looking at it much. FineMotion, who came to Japan without much expectation, ran on a 700-meter slope course during her training before entering the stables, and while most horses would be out of breath after one run, she did it 2 or 3 times. And as she grew up, her body became so well balanced that every part of her was appreciated for its excellence. She was to be managed by Ito himself. She had a good reputation. Okabe, a top jockey who once rode Simbali Rudolph and others, looked at FineMotion and said, "I feel sorry for the horse that competes with this horse." In December 2001, FineMotion held her debut race. She easily ran away and won this turf race over 2,000 meters. Even though she ran away from the field, her time for the 600 meters to the finish line was the fastest of all the runners. When the trainer saw this, he registered her to run in the French 1000 guineas and the French Oaks. One of the reasons was that FineMotion was not eligible to run in the Oka Show and Japanese Oaks due to her foreign birth. However, it was judged that FineMotion was inexperienced in her legs and that her real growth was yet to come, so she was put out to pasture after her debut race, and eventually her trip to France was scrapped. It was in August 2002 that she returned to racing. She ran a series of lower-class races of 2,000 meters and 2,600 meters, both of which she won easily by 5 lengths without using a whip. On September 15, she ran in the Rose Stakes, the prep race for the Shuka Show, as the overwhelming favorite. Oka Show winner Arrow Carey and, of course, other graded race winners were there, but FineMotion didn't give it her all and won easily by 3 lengths. She then went undefeated and ran in the Grade 1 Shuka Show. FineMotion's odds for a single win were 1.1, and she also lived up to expectations here, winning easily with her power saved. She had a large lead over the rest of the field, but just before the finish line her jockey tried to slow her down a bit, which closed the gap to 3.5 lengths in the end. Her time was 1 minute, 58.1 seconds, which was tied for the race record. Her next race was the Queen Elizabeth Cup, featuring 3 generations of Oaks winners, but once again FineMotion was the overwhelming favorite. As usual, she easily took the lead at the last corner and outpaced the other horses to win the race. Thus, she stood at the top of the mares of the time with 6 wins in 6 races. She was chosen third in the fan voting for umamusume, and when she entered the race, she was favored to be the favorite. But she lost her cool once the race started. She wanted to go to the front and was further overtaken by Tap Dance City on the way, disrupting the pace. This also affected her, and she finished 5th, her first defeat. However, for her performance that year, she was named the best 3-year-old mare. After the race she was put out to pasture and returned to the stables in May to resume training. Then she ran in the Queen Stakes in August, but she came in second. She then tried the Mainichi Crown in October, but was defeated in 7th place and was out of shape. Her next challenge was the Mile Championship, where she made a push in the final stretch but was overtaken by Durandal, who came from further back, and finished a close second. It was not easy to win, but in the next race, the Hanshin Mare Stakes, she won for the first time in almost a year. She continued to run the following year. However, she gradually lost her ability to run calmly in races. She ran in the Yasuda Kinen in June, but ran out of control and lost badly, finishing 13th. She then finished second in the Hakodate Kinen in the summer, and the next race, the Sapporo Kinen, she ran calmly and won for the first time in a long time. But she ran in the Mile Championship in the fall, as she had the year before, but ran out of steam again and was beaten by 9. In the end, this race was her last, and FineMotion was retired. Her total record is 8 wins in 15 races, including 2 Grade 1 wins. She struggled in races with males, but was incomparably strong in a mares-only race as a 3-year-old. This is just a guess on my part, but perhaps she had a hard time with the faster pace of the race. I think her first loss, Arima Kinen, is a good example of this. She was going to start out as a broodmare. However, she was never conceived. It turned out that she was incapable of conceiving. This fact was unfortunate, as she was initially imported with high hopes as a broodmare. She has retired as a broodmare and is now living the rest of her life in a relaxed manner. I hope she lives long enough to see it. That's all for this time. If you want to know more about Japanese horses, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.